What's up, YouTube, and welcome back to part 3 of our How to Transition to Natural journey. For those of you who are new here, welcome. My name is Amina, and I have been doing a little series for how to transition to natural for every step of the journey. Now, I first started out on here with sharing how I transitioned to natural and some of my tips and tricks for how to transition for beginners, things like that. But I noticed that because there are several different stages of your transition that you go through, I wanted to break it down for each different section to make it easier for you to navigate whatever stage of your transition that you are in. So now we are landing on phase 3 today, and phase 3 is going to be months 6 through 9. By month 6, since your hair grows at about half an inch a month, you are starting with about 3 inches of new growth. And let's do our mathematics because I was not prepared. 3 plus 1.5. By the end of this phase, you will have almost 5 inches of new growth. And if you didn't think 3 inches was significant enough, 5 inches of new growth is more than likely almost half the length of your hair, if not more. And maybe it's not. Maybe you started out with super long hair, but it's still significant enough to make a big difference in how your styles are going to start changing. During this period of time was sort of my most exploratory, playing with different hairstyles, because after I had gone through doing months of flexi rod sets and perm rod sets, and I was getting tired of doing all of these different protective styles, although they looked amazing and I was obsessed with them, I wanted something that was a little bit easier, a little less time consuming that I could go to, and wanted to circle back to trying twist outs. My first run-in with twist outs, if you have watched my natural hair journey, you saw it was trash. That was literally my first week of transitioning, and I thought, well, I think this is what like all the natural girls are doing, right? Like twist outs. That's how you do it. No. When my hair was mostly straight, all of that heat damage was not going to allow me to curl my hair just by wrapping it around itself in any stretch, because my curls hadn't come in, and your curls, your natural hair, is what's really going to hold the definition because of the texture of our hair and because of the natural way our hair grows out of our head. So as my hair started to grow out a little bit longer, I started to experiment with twist outs. And usually my results were my hair would look amazingly twisted out for about this long, and then the rest of it was just a wavy, sad little baby curl. Obviously, that's not the look I was going for. So I soon decided to start mixing in my perm rods with my twist outs. And that was one of the fastest ways that I started to play around with a new style. And it was much less time consuming, much faster to dry than any of the other styles that I had tried before. So I have a twist out tutorial with the perm rods on my channel, and perm rods are really going to allow you to control how the bottom section, this straight hair that you're still experiencing, is going to curl up. So I personally love to use the light pink rods during this time, and that kind of gave me a little more of an ending that looked very similar to my curl pattern. I didn't know what my curl pattern was at that time, and during this period of time, you're also still not going to have an idea of what your curl pattern is actually going to look like once your hair is fully natural, because you still have those straight pieces that are weighing your hair down. I'm sure by this point you have also started to toy around with the idea of maybe trimming your hair a little bit more, if not just going all out and just saying, you know what, I don't have time for this anymore. I'm just gonna do my little medium chop or mini chop or medium chop. I totally feel you on that. I was very hesitant to do it, but I did start to get very scissor happy during this point in time. And I think that honestly led to my length retention being so successful during this point. So I was cutting off probably about an inch or half an inch a month. and kind of doing spot sections too, because some of my hair was a little bit in better condition than others. So in those little weaker points of my hair, I was just cutting, and obviously making it look as symmetrical as possible, but it really did help me in the health of my hair. I felt like my hair was so much softer, and I was continuing to do my deep conditioning treatments and really just staying on top of my routine. If you are experiencing the frustration, this might be a great point for you to go to a protective style for a month or two and see if that just sort of helps alleviate your frustrations. And honestly, I feel like getting a nice fresh set of braids is literally like going on hair vacation, and it is the best thing. I don't know why I just was so committed to doing my hair and like making this a very intentional journey that I was doing myself, but in retrospect, I probably would have gotten braids at least twice during my transition. So if you're there, don't hesitate, or if you have a vacation coming up and you don't want to deal with the struggle, go ahead and get them braids. For those of you who are considering just stopping here and cutting it all off and just being done with it and being as natural as you are right now, only with your curls, I give you the thumbs up and the blessing to do that. However, one thing I want you to keep in mind is that when you do cut your hair, if that's what you choose to do, it's not going to look exactly like how you think it is right away. If you imagine that for the longest time you were just living your best life, but you had weights around your ankles that were just pulling you down. That's actually probably one of the worst metaphors, but I couldn't think of another example of the process of being weighed down, and once you cut that weight off, that what you experience immediately after is not going to be your final result. There's still going to be a period of time where your hair is recovering from having that weight, and so the more you continue to take care of it, the more you condition it, it's just slowly going to start coming into its own and springing up into its true natural self. On top of that, your hair is also not going to be as long as what you think it would be because this is being weighed down. So right now, because this is like a day 2 or day 3 of my hair, you can't see how really coily my hair is, but these pieces here I feel like best represent. So you can see that with it being this springy, having a big, heavy, straight piece of hair attached to it is not going to give me an accurate idea of how long my hair is really going to look with shrinkage accounted for. With that in mind, do a test section first, and if you have a couple pieces that are really just driving you nuts, usually it's going to be either in your crown area or at your bangs, which I recommend maybe starting with a couple pieces there. Cut those to see how your hair springs back up. Give it maybe a couple days if you're patient, and then if you feel happy with your results, if you feel happy with the length, then go in with your scissors with the rest of it, whether it's you doing it or a trusted professional, which I recommend if you're not a DIY person. There's nothing wrong with that. I personally cut off my hair, but if you want to save that for somebody else, that is a great way to test it first before fully committing. With all of that in mind, just continue to have fun and experiment. You are over the hump. I promise that you are. You are so close, and I know how exciting it is to finally start seeing your real curls in their element. So just continue to be patient, continue to trim as much as you feel comfortable, and really that's my biggest tip is just cut as much as you possibly can to give your curls a chance to really start to have a little bit more freedom to lift up, and it's also going to start conditioning you to be ready when it is time to take off the rest, which is in the last phase, I would say. So that's getting to your year mark, and you may even need another half a year after that, but you will be very close, and you're going to be in that last chapter that's going to kind of take you through the end. I hope this information was helpful to you. I feel like there might be a couple of things that I missed here, but really this step is just more of keep doing what you're doing, but then also kind of brace yourself mentally for the next steps of getting ready for your hair to be completely finished. You might cut your hair off before you think that you're ready, and then when you do, you're like, wow, I totally should have done that like 2 or 3 months ago. And that's exactly what happened to me. If you need encouragement, don't hesitate to reach out. Let us know in the comments what you're experiencing. What's your head state during this 6 to 9 month period? I know it's super weird. I know that it's still another form of the awkward stage, but you are already a pro. You have learned so much through this point in time, and you can definitely make it to the next steps. Thank you so much for watching. Again, hope this information was helpful and not me rambling. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Find me on Instagram at Amina Marie, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye.